back, everyone, to the Mixed Match Challenge 2025. A very sinister team making their appearance.
It's a tag team match set for one fall. On the way to the ring, Hardcore Miss Holly and the Druid.
Collective known as the Celtic Bards. Dangerous zealot that is the Deacon Macaulay, carrying the LBN Tag Team Championship with him. The multi-time women's champion, the Druid, by his side. Foul machinations they got in mind for this year's Mixed Match Challenge. Indeed, the Slamily values of Zach Paxton, Sophie Jackson, brother and sister-in-law, of course. They're looking hyped, they're looking ready. Paxton looking good with that Discord title. Of course, Deacon Macaulay not the only champion in this matchup. And they did look mighty impressive in the preliminary round. They knocked out DJ and Jojo. Deacon not looking too worried. Zach Paxton taking on the fans and a beautiful Mixed Match Challenge arena. And oh dear, that's not a great start to life here. The discus lariat and almost a lazy cover from Deacon Macaulay there. For Zach Paxton, the Warzone competitor, and the Deacon Macaulay on LBN's Mondays currently. So little overlap between these two superstars, but I think it's very obvious just from the expression on Deacon Macaulay's face, the disdain that he has for perhaps who he considers one of the unwashed masses. And he is just lighting him up to begin with here, and he says, okay, that's enough. Double tags. In comes the Druid, in comes Sophie Jackson. Both missing with the attempted strike, so Sophie Jackson sends her into the corner. Dropkick, I think, just batted away at the last second. And a takedown from the Druid. Celtic Bards, of course, do have some pedigree in this competition, as a tag is made there. Oh, look at that. Nice dropkick. Unfortunately, went out in the preliminary round to Ireland Mike in 2022, made it all the way to the semi-finals in 2023, and last year in a bit of a shock result after being expected to perhaps win the whole thing. They were eliminated by the Wildcat Empire, Lachlan and Casey J, in round one. I'd say they'll do everything in their power to prevent a repeat of last year's disappointment. And unfortunately, on the other end of that is going to be Sophie Jackson. As here come the boots from the Druid. Druid now, yeah, just ground and pound seems to be the strategy. Sophie Jackson now able to pick her way out of it, and there we go. Nice Hurricane Rana takes the Druid down for now. He's going to follow it up with an attempt, perhaps at a tag team maneuver. Oh, no. What are they doing here? Double catapult! Sends the Druid flying into the turnbuckle. And then getting introduced to a different turnbuckle. Paxton lining up here. Looking for something big. Knee strike. And again, a lot more aggression out of Paxton in the most recent months. There's blows there. Uses that to keep the Druid down and in position for him. Let a standing springboard moonsault. And that's enough for the Deacon to come in and get involved. Oh, Michinoku driver. Beautifully executed by Zach Paxton, and they're going to look to keep up the frequent tags. Sophie Jackson now back in the ring. Double axe handle into the cover. The leg is hooked. Again, that's a bit optimistic. The Druid looking very annoyed by that, perhaps disrespected. If she would even try cover, but oh, snatches a Kimura from out of nowhere. Can she torque back in it? No, she can't. Couldn't apply it fully. I think now we're starting to see some of the anger come out of the Druid. This is in the corner. Double chicken wing, and oh, back into the corner buckle. We're adding a couple of stomps for good measure. Druid now into the cover. No hook of the leg. Paxton. I'm not sure what he's seen there. Might have seen Deacon McCauley attempting something untoward and entered the ring. And oh, the Druid. Sophie Jackson looks a little bit out of it there, and that caused Zach Paxton to have to go around. And that extra time allowed the Druid to notice that Paxton was now the legal competitor. Pulled up ahead of steam and hit him with a clothesline. Druid now again, that takedown. He's out. The pride of Long Island. He's looking for some shelter on the apron. He's not going to find any. The Deacon McCauley stalks him. Calls him out to the apron. Could be looking for perhaps an apron DDT. Spiking Paxton right in the top of his head. Well, in fact, the apron is the hardest part of the ring. Now we resume the ground and pound of the Celtic Bards. Oh, nobody home on that basement drop kick. Paxton able to evade. Now can I follow him? Oh, look at that. Lights him up with a couple of slaps. Punctuated with a kick to the midsection, and Paxton's not done there. Pendulum swinging on the drop kick, and into the cover now goes Paxton. Leg is hooked on the Deacon. Again, not good enough for a 2. Oh, look out, Paxton. He's going to have to readjust and readjust. He does. Double axe handle all the way from the top. He can look like he might have been preparing to share some unkind words with Sophie Jackson. And Zach came flying through the air. And there we go again. There's beautiful strike combinations. Paxton clearly found his range. They're being quite effective now, opts to bring Sophie in. Deacon's in the corner. He gets caught with a discus big boot there. And the Druid, seemingly a bit worried by that, comes in immediately for a cheap shot and to break up any sort of attempted cover. Sophie Jackson lining the Deacon right up with a Almost a broski boot. Before returning the bro-in-law, Zach Paxton, to this matchup. He's thought about something there, but opts to keep the frequent tags up. Brings Sophie Jackson back in, and that was a mistake. Give the Deacon too much time. There was too much indecision there. But Sophie Jackson from out of nowhere snatches the hidden beauty. Hidden beauty applied to the Deacon, who's able to roll out of the back there. I think Sophie just wasn't able to get that left arm just fully around the neck of the Deacon. That allowed him to slip out the back. Bagnade, the Druid is in. She is keeping Sophie Jackson firmly. Wrong part of time. And oh, perhaps thinking face first choke slam there was the Druid. Sophie Jackson able to counter her way out of it. And again, go back to that left arm, stomps on it. And the frequent tags, the Slamily value seem to be proving quite effective for them. Could be proven incredibly effective if Arcadia connects. It does! That's what got them the win in the prelim round, but the Deacon is there. Make sure that that was not the end of their tournament at the early stages again, but roll through stunner, that could do it. Zach Paxton pulling out all the hits here and nearly getting the victory. Druid really needs to make a tag, find some sort of offense, because she is in a lot of trouble. She's in an absolute world of trouble because of the dead shot protocol. Dead shot protocol connects center of the ring, and Slamily values do not advance. Druid having to dig extra deep there. Paxton now from the top rope gets caught. Druid bomb. Unbelievable. Druid catching her out of mid-air, delivered a version of her Druid bomb. Didn't quite get the spin or the sit-out that she likes to apply with it, but that has just completely turned the tides of this matchup. It looked like it could have been over a few times there for the Celtic Bards. Deacon asking for the tag. Druid instead opting turn her attention to Sophie Jackson and drop kick her all the way to the outside. Does she notice Zach Paxton behind? I don't think she noticed it in time. Arm wrench into the drop kick, and the Deacon looking quite angry on the apron there. Paxton's able to connect with another big maneuver. The Deacon has already burned his interference, and the Druid has taken quite a lot of punishment. Springboard moonsault. And the Druid here is struggling. Knee strike to the face. And this could finally do it for Slamily. Values no again. What great toughness from the Druid. Being able to kick out of a lot of big time maneuvers. Finally gets a counter via the headbutt. Druid needs to make the tag, and that's what she's going to look to do here. And finally, Deacon McCauley returned back to the ring with a double hip toss. Deacon taking time to remonstrate with the fans there, and that's just Woken Zach Paxton up, slapping the mat. A rush of adrenaline, perhaps. And much like they've been doing to the Druids, they're going to continue to bring the fight to the Deacon. Deacon crawling for cover in the corner. He's not going to get much. Paxton now hyping himself and the fans up 100 miles an hour, sliding knee. And once again, the Deacon falling down to the canvas. Just not been able to get much of anything going. Paxton now, oh, double stomp. Devastating. Another quick tag to Sophie Jackson, hyping herself up. And she could be looking for the end of this matchup. Is she going for the Hidden Beauty again? Yes, for a second time on the Deacon, the Hidden Beauty. Is she able to torque back on it? It's a very bad angle the neck of the Deacon is at. But again, Sophie just not able to really fully apply it. But it was enough to do some serious damage to the Deacon. Roll through, stunner again. Deacon's out. Druid in trouble again. A kick out of 2. How is she doing it? The Druid's kicked out of everything that Paxton and Jackson have thrown at her. But she may not kick out of this for a second time. Arcadia! Dead center of the ring. The Deacon's not going to get there in time. Slamily values pick up a huge win.
Here are your winners.
Once again, the Celtic Bards fall. Once again, Arcadia gets the job done. Moving on to the next round. Zach Paxton, Sophie Jackson